Marigold and roses, columbine and twining morning glory, lavender sweet william, forget me not.
The bicycle is the most important thing that I do every day.
Of the valley, evening star and bluebird, forget me not.
The thing about the bike is that cars are killing the planet. I don't want to drive a car. I'd rather restrict myself. I'd rather not go somewhere if it means that I have to use a car. So I gave up my car 4 years ago. I go in all weathers, all times of day, and it makes me feel like I have given a gift to my future grandchildren, to my future great nieces and nephews, to my existing great nephews, that I have voluntarily given up my pollution rights because I want you to have clean air and clean water. And plus I love to ride my bike.
Marigold and roses.
Working at West Haven Farm on the weekends is a small part of my week, but it's a huge part of my happiness. I go up on Saturdays and Sundays to water the greenhouse and any plants that are on planks between the hoop houses. During the growing season, I also raise and lower the sides depending on how cold it is, if it's going to rain. We don't want rain getting on the tomatoes. And then at night, if it's cold, move both sides back down, water again if it's 90. No, it's not that much work. But I love having this intimate connection with my food. I love knowing what I eat. I love seeing people pick up their shares and know that I started those. Those plants started with seedlings I watered. Now that Danny is an adult and has moved away, and I'm no longer focusing far away on a soccer ball and young boys like colts running across a field after that ball, I can focus far away at the farm. I can stand up there at the barn and look at all of Ithaca. It's beautiful. Last year, I took pictures every weekend for a whole year of how the farm changed. It was great. So during the rest of the week, when I'm not at the farm, I am sitting right in front of a screen. I work at a screen all day at my job, which I love, by the way, and I work at a screen when I come home at night, which I also love. I write, I edit, I translate, I review, I read. Everything is sort of, here's a surface with words on it, and here's my face. So at my job, for the first 4 years, I was a technical solutions analyst, which meant that I wrote specifications for our software and helped realize programs. Now I'm a project manager, and what we do is we help communities, whether it's a state, a utility, a group, to reap incentives from basically the federal government for lowering their carbon footprint, for using less energy. If we can convince builders and raters to make buildings that don't waste energy, and our software keeps track of that for them, then they get monetary rewards and we get a cleaner future. The most efficient houses, these net zero houses, use so little energy and give off so little waste that they're really quite self-sufficient, with some panels on the roof, electric systems, nice and tight. You can break free of your fossil fuel habit. One of my translating projects was for my niece, Mimi Meserve, now Mimi Fox. Mimi got married this summer, and there was no way I could get there by bike or by bus. It would have taken flying, and I would have had to rent a car, and I couldn't. And yet I love her very much. So I picked a work by the French feminist philosopher Judy Swann about the art of marriage. It's a big text, it's over 100 pages, but I sat down every day and worked on 6 or 7 pages and got it done by just about June. Then I took some time to read it through again, tidy it up. I spent hours every day, and then had it professionally printed through BookBaby. I also do quite a bit of editing, mostly literary, but I've also worked for scientists and social scientists. The favorite person I edit, my favorite person that I do editing for is Elizabeth Rajek. I met her when she was head of acquisitions at the City College Library, and I was in the catalog department. She is a woman who, a Hungarian woman who speaks Hungarian, Slovak, Czech, Russian, German, and English. As a language person myself, who speaks many fewer languages than her, Russian, Italian, French. We bonded, and even though she's brilliant, her English, even after all these years, she came here in 1956, is still very Hungarian. Because Hungary was often enslaved by other powers, Austria, Russia, because they had this relationship of always sort of being down, their language developed all these beautiful flowers and intricacies that you can't make an English sentence like that. There's just too much modification. So every sentence that she writes, not every sentence, but many of the sentences need to be divided into 2, sometimes into 4. So it gives me a lot of pleasure to work with her. She knows so much about Kafka, the intellect, life, everything. So when I can edit for Ellie, I'm at my happiest. Elizabeth Rajek is my other mother. My own mother passed away at the very young age of 49. And Ellie, who never had children, kind of just adopted me. So I'm hers in a very intimate way. I'd say no different than I am with my own son, who came from my body. There's that difference only. There's no difference of degree. Right now, Danny, my son, my grown-up son, my adult son, my employed college graduate son, is on a 5-day break from his work and is either in or traveling towards Yellowstone National Park and the Grand Tetons. We talked last night about it on the phone. He was so excited to see the geysers. He's never seen a geyser. I've never seen a geyser. Nothing has been better for me in my life than watching Danny grow up. He was the most adorable baby. And as a grown-up man, he's just everything I like in another person. We don't have a lot in common. He's not a morning person. I am. I'm very chatty. He's kind of quiet. But it doesn't matter. Danny had a double major in environmental science and biology at Allegheny College. He spent a semester abroad in Costa Rica, where he realized that there's a different pace to life, and that the beauties of life aren't always in chasing a buck. So his first job out of college is in Gunnison, Colorado, Mount Crested Butte, where he's helping to build one of the first multi-story, multi-family straw bale houses in that area. He didn't know how to learn, and he didn't have any building skills living with me. I have none. So this is his chance to have those skills. And he's very committed to making a better world and to creating paradise someplace. So not only did I love Danny a lot since I had him, but I was in love with him even before he came out. And the whole 9 months that he was in my belly, I worked on this embroidery. I used every embroidery stitch I could think of to do. I created new ones. And the bottom panel, there's no one combination that repeats. I used all 64 of the I Ching hexagrams. I wrapped them in different ways. And on the outside of the square, it's not really a square, the rectangle of the tiles themselves, I made blue French knots on the white background because it reminded me of heaven.
Marigold and roses.
This is called the Meditating Lady. She is blue. This is for Vincent van Gogh. This is Like a Sheep. This is Sheila Nagig. She's an Irish water sprite. Oh, this one is a unicorn in a padded fence. This is a fancy palace. Here we have corn and chaos. This is a mermaid with a mirror and a comb. She has the symbols of life and death. This is a radiant passage. I think it's inside the fancy castle. This is the mandala of Dhumavati. This is a serpent, an iguana, and a snake. This is Ithaca at night. This is my favorite tulip. This is the bull from Chaucer's, from the Griselda's Tale, the Clerk's Tale. This is Tzlethcatl, the Aztec goddess. This is Frida Kahlo's My Birth. This is the camel from Griselda's Clerk's Tale. And this is Hortus Mundi. See, these are the outlines that never repeat. Each one of those is filled with a different stitch. So this face is a takeoff of puppets that we had at the Women's Pentagon Action in 1980. And I made the face first. And then I made the 1,000 breasts because I have that picture of Diana of Ephesus that I saw when I was in Rome. And then I realized that she was a bee, so I gave her wings and a bee body. And then she was all alone, so I added this beautiful tree with, and I must say, menstrual blood. You see how it gets clumpy? When I used to have periods, it was like that. The Mom Egg Review, which is a publication out of New York City, has a launch party every time they bring out a book. And I've been to them twice. It's very exciting. You read up on the stage. And they film it. But this poem called Soft, they've published 3 or 4 of my things. And I like them for that. But this poem called Soft, let's see how it sounds when I read it out loud. The ferns, those old souls, babbled with the nightjars, and I with a man who loved to smile. The ferns are blooming, I said. Ferns never flower, he said, for they are cryptograms. Sounds military, I said. This is the time of year they bloom. Later, my smiling man said, when the nightjar flies, kids sleep at their mother's breasts. For many years, I didn't want to bring a man home, where my linen smells of the line, where I close the west windows at night. Oh, he said, you are so soft. When I die, I want to have a great big party with lots of drinking, dancing, and fornication, and have it be like New Orleans. Everybody wears a mask. And everybody doesn't have to wear a feathered mask. They could also use a stern Greek-type mask. Or they could just use this mask.
Marigold and roses, columbine columbine entwining morning glory, lavender, sweet william, forget-me-not, violet and daisy, buttercup and lily of the valley, evening star and bluebell, forget-me-not. Marigold and roses, there's a wind that's calling, columbine entwining from the north sometime, lavender, sweet william, and it's no matter, forget-me-not, how fair the weather, violet and daisy, it wakes me from my sleeping, buttercup and lily of the I'm valley, restless to be moving, evening star and play.